Everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today's video is all about how to set conditional orders in Thinkorswim. So of course I'll provide a full step-by-step breakdown on how to do this, but more importantly I'll provide detail on why it's beneficial to at least have an understanding of how this can be implemented in your trading if desired. So as y'all can see, I have Google pulled up here on the option chain. But first, for those who are unaware of what conditional orders are, I do want to definitely just provide a simple definition of what it means. It's basically a way to set automated trading instructions that only execute when specific criteria you set is reached. And this can be triggers like price levels, technical indicators, or even time windows. Once those parameters are met, it's then allowing you to predefine entries, exits, and risk controls. So really, the Thinkorswim platform carries out your plan with predetermined factors. That's really all it is. So y'all know I previously made a video showing y'all how to automate trades, but now I'll show y'all the step-by-step of certain conditions with the automations. So I'm going to go ahead and hit the drop down for October 10th for the weekly, and we can see that's set for 32 days out of DTE. Now just for example purposes, we're going to go ahead and take a look at this 230 strike price here. And I'm going to go ahead and select the asking price, which is set to $1,020. Now once I click that, you'll see the order entry tools pops up here at the bottom. Now for this example, you can have price triggered at a breakout entry, and this can apply to stock or options, so keep that in mind. So with this method, the main goal is to buy only if the price breaks a level, and you can attach an automatic stop and target. So within this, we're going to of course create our initial entry. We know of course since we're trading options, the spread will be set for single. In this case, we're also initiating the order, so the side will be set to buy. And then from here, you can also set the quantity of contracts you want. So in this case, it's defaulted to 10. The POS is obviously going to be set for automatic. We see, of course, we're trading Google, and it's also set for the weekly at October 10th at the 230 strike. And of course, it's set for the call side. We'll go ahead and skip over link for right now. We see the price is set at that 1020, and it's at the limit for the order. Now I'll talk about the TIF and special instructions in just a second, but for right now, we'll go ahead and leave it set at the parameters that we've selected. Now here down at the bottom left, you're going to see where it says advanced order. You're going to go ahead and select the drop down and change it from single order and go ahead and place it at first trigger OCO. So this very top line will be the entry order. So now I'll just go ahead and add 2 exits underneath, and this will be my take profit target and my stop loss, which will only activate after the entry fills. So in order to do that, I'm just going to right click on it, and then from here we're going to click on create opposite order. I'm then going to go ahead and duplicate this, so I'm going to go ahead and right click on this again, but this time I'm going to create the duplicate order. So now this top red line is going to be my take profit, and then this bottom red line will be my stop loss. Now for example purposes, let's just go ahead and say that I want my take profit to be at 1030. I'll also leave it set for a limit. And then for my stop loss, you can hit the drop down and have any of the options that you want. If you're more comfortable setting a stop limit, trail stop, or a trail stop limit, just choose what works best for you. In this case, I'll just select stop. And then from here, I'm going to go ahead and set this to be a stop loss at, let's say, 1010. So essentially what I've done is I've placed the initial order to be purchased at $1,020. I want to take profit once it reaches $1,030, and I'll be stopped out of the trade once it reaches $1,010. Now, if you wanted to, you can simply stop here and go ahead and click on confirm and send, and your order can be sent off. However, if you did want to take this a step further, you have a few other options you can add to this order. So to add any conditions that you want to have set, you simply have to click on this little gear icon at the far right, and once you do, you'll see the order rules pop up. And from here is where you'll add the conditional factors to the order. So at the very top, we see, of course, it's set to buy. We see the quantity is for the 10 contracts we selected. The price rule is set to limit, but you can hit this drop down and select something different if you change your mind. You can certainly have it fulfilled at the market or at the limit order. It's just your choice. And then underneath that, you're going to see the limit price, which has already been selected. And then now we see the tip is set for day. If you hit the drop down, you can have it set for GTC. And again, I'll talk more about that in just a second. You can also leave the special instructions set to none. And then we also see the tax lot method is set for default. I would recommend leaving it there unless you have experience with the FIFO, LIFO, or high-low costs. Now in this middle section here, this is where you're actually going to set the conditions to your order. And to do that, all you simply have to do is click underneath symbol. You're going to go ahead and click on the box, and you'll see that the ticker symbol that you selected will pop up automatically. From there, you're going to go ahead and click on method, and you can choose to have the bid, the ask, the mark, or any other option you would want. You can even click on study, and you can have this set for any type of technical indicator of your choosing. You would just simply click on edit, but we won't go over that right now. I'll leave a link for that video down below where I discuss that. So I'm going to hit cancel on that. Now, the main thing to consider when you're setting these conditional orders is the trigger. So if you hit this drop down right here, you'll see it shows you that it can be less than or equal to, greater than or equal to, trail stop, less than or greater than. So it's completely your choice on what you select. For example purposes, we're going to go ahead and leave it at less than. Now, the next thing to consider is the threshold. This is where you can click the plus or minus button here or type in the specific number that you would want. It could be anything that you choose that would make sense for the trade that you're trying to place. Now, this is one of the main things to pay attention to because whatever number you set is going to make or break the order in its entirety. Now, from here, you can take a look at the description, and it's telling us that you're going to submit this order to buy 10 contracts of Google for the October 10th weekly, and it's at the 2:30 call, and you're looking to buy it at 10:20 or better. Now, the second part of this is telling us that it'll wait until the following condition is satisfied, which is having the mark price of the stock less than or equal to whatever you set for the threshold. And then by default, this order will show a wait condition status during the waiting period. And of course, you'll be able to check that once you click on monitor after you place the trade. You click on this tab here and you'll be able to see it in the wait condition. Now, one thing about it is that it doesn't end there. You can take it again even a step further. If you select this checkbox here next to submit at, it'll actually display the date and the time that the order can be executed. So now you'll notice that there's 3 different parameters that have been set for this order. And rather it just being executed at the quantity of contracts on the specific weekly at that strike price, it's also telling us a specific date and time. The second element is also confirming that date and time. And then the third element is telling us to wait for it to be satisfied for less than or equal to the amount that you set. And of course, it's telling us that it'll be pending based upon the waiting condition. So from here, you can simply click on save and then have that added to your order. But before I do that, I'm going to uncheck this just for a second. We're going to go ahead and clear this out so I can show y'all that this also works if you're looking for the cancellation aspect as well. So let's say you're one that maybe has a preference for more so looking at how to cancel the orders once conditions are met. All you simply have to do is follow the same exact steps. Go ahead and click on symbol, and of course the ticker will pop up. Click on method, choose what you would want. I would always recommend mark, but you can choose the bid or the ask if you desire. And then here you can go ahead and set the trigger. So in this case, I'm going to do greater than or equal to. You'll also go ahead and fill in the threshold amount you would want. And you'll see here at the very bottom, it's describing the same exact thing. It's telling us at that 10:20 or better, but you'll notice with the second line, it's talking about the cancellation of it. If the following condition is satisfied, that's when the security has to be greater or equal to the amount that you set. Now, with that being said, the same rules apply. Once you click on this cancel at, it'll pop up the date and the specific time. And you'll see that added here at the bottom. And at this point, all you need to do is go ahead and click on save, and it'll have everything you've set for your conditional order already predetermined for you. Now, why this style of trading often wins is that you'll only enter if the market proves your analysis to be true. So hence, if you were spotting like a breakout, the specific parameters must be met in order for everything to be executed. So it kind of offers you a little bit of stability and a little bit of peace of mind in some cases because you don't overextend yourself within the trade. And that's just based upon everything you've set as a determining factor. Now, the OCO bracket enforces discipline instantly without the need for further evaluation because you've already done all the hard work. So some may be asking why conditional orders even matter. And to be honest, the automation of your plan is the main thing that allows you to have the functionality of ease of use. Because this is more of a based approach because your rules fire only when the conditions are satisfied. So there's no chasing trades and no hesitation that's needed. You also have the benefit in precision entries because the trigger on exact price levels, it could be an indicator signal or stages of time. It guarantees that the order will be fulfilled if you set it, of course, for like a market order. Now, what I particularly like about this specific way of trading is that there's built-in risk control because you can pair entries with automatic stop and target OCOs for clean risk to reward without having to second guess yourself at all. And then real quick, another benefit is reduced slippage and screen time. So I know a lot of people that I help trade, they often say that they don't want to spend hours looking at the charts, and that's completely understandable because nobody wants to spend their whole day monitoring the data. So when you have these automations implemented, you reduce the slippage and of course the screen time. And all you would have to do is manage it from the monitor tab and make sure that everything is working out in your favor. But let me say this isn't ideal for all traders. This method is definitely something that you want to execute when you have the experience and you understand how everything will function and how everything will flow. Because the core concept of this is that it's conditionally set for these triggers to activate, but you have to know exactly what you're doing to make sure that it makes sense for your trading. Because let's say, for example, you wanted to take a look at a pullback entry with a limit, and this can be on stocks or options. Your goal should be buying a pullback into support, not the breakout in that case. So you can build your entry as a limit order at your preferred level. And then of course, once you get to the advanced order option, you can have that first trigger OCO set for your take profit and your stop the same way we've discussed here. But the conditional option can change because you can add a secondary price touch. And even if you desire to have a specific indicator pulled up, you can definitely choose to do that as well. So let's say, for example, you're wanting to look at the RSI if you're brand new to trading. You can go ahead and select the edit function here, click this drop down here at the top, and then click on study. And at this point, you can go ahead and type in the specific indicator that you're looking for. And that can be, for instance, let's say the RSI. At this point, you can choose to have it crossing above, below, greater than or equal to, less than, or less than and equal to. And you also have a few more other options you can select here at the bottom. Once you have that set, go ahead and click on save once again, and you'll have that added in addition to the order for the condition. Now, I know some of this may seem a little bit complex. However, it's really a time saver, y'all. It's not the most practical thing to do on an everyday basis because I do understand that some people like to actually watch the charts. This method for sure will be something that you can utilize. Because at this point, you're pretty much just automating your patience, so there's no FOMO feels in the equation. Now remember, within this condition setup, you can also select the time frame in which you want this to be traded off of. I know everybody has a different preference, so all of this is completely dependent on your style of trading. Now, some of the option-specific best practices with this is that you want to make sure that the trigger on the stock or ETF that you're choosing is not the option's quote. Option marks can move, which tie the condition to the stock or ETF level you trust. So that's why I said it's good to use either a stop, a trail stop, or a stop limit. Because in an impure market, thin contracts can cap out due to slippage. Which is why when you are monitoring the chart, you want to look for liquid expirations and strikes. For sure, focus on tight spreads and high volume and OI. For day trades, weekly options with 0 to 5 days of DTE, they move fast with more risk. So bracket tightly and consider all choices available. For swings anywhere from 20 to 60 days of DTE, this provides better theta. So use GTC brackets with price-based triggers on the stock or ETF. So what I mean by that is when you're setting these specific orders, you want to go ahead and make sure that you have the tip here. I would recommend deselecting it for day and choosing GTC because that means it's good till canceled. And the really good thing about this is that you can reuse these templates because as y'all already know, the stock market is super repetitive. So oftentimes you'll see patterns that occur over and over, and you can take full advantage of trading the same exact style on those same plays. Now, is it always going to be 100% matching what it was previously? Of course not. But at least you'll know the setup that makes the most sense and is at the highest of probability. Because let's say, for instance, you're looking for an outcome that's a mechanical 2-to-1 R&R structure that avoids chasing. Whatever you have for that pullback for that first trigger OCO, you may decide to buy at the limit at the support zone. Then, of course, you can have that optional study guard, and this is where the price level can be factored in with the volume. You set your target, and then of course you go ahead and wait for that time limit to be executed. And at that point, it'll just auto send the limit or the market order to be true attached to the OCO. Now, for those who are unaware, I do want to quickly go over everything we see here just so that you'll have the background knowledge. When we look at the price rules for limit, just keep in mind that if you place something at the mark, this is for a fair trigger and fast momentum. If you choose limit, this can be noisy on thin volatility. Now you can also choose to have it at stop or stop limit. Now the stop limit prevents poor fills. And you can add a small limit offset so you still get executed. And then always make sure that you have the limit linked to whatever makes the most sense for what's going to be beneficial. You don't always have to stick to manual is basically what I'm saying. Now speaking of that, going right back to it, make sure that when you do select a specific study that you have it set for the aggregation period here to match your playbook. because the reliance is on the fact that your study condition evaluates on that time frame specifically. Now, obviously, the pros to this is that it helps traders win more often, and that's because you're basically codifying your edge, since Thinkorswim executes your plan instantly with 0-second thought. And if you're brand new to trading, this can also prevent those almost trades, because no trigger equals no order, which forces you to wait for proof, therefore validating your evaluation. And if it's invalid, then it's no harm, no foul, because the order won't even go through to begin with. So it basically protects your capital because OCO makes the exit plan non-negotiable. It also can boost the consistency because the same trigger logic that you use on one trade, you can also use on another. Now, the last thing I wanted to discuss in this video is just the basic benefits and some of the things to avoid. So if you're new to investing, you can kind of look at this method as a way of having guardrails from day one, because the bracketed structure of these types of trades, it just prevents the impulse entries and random exits, because we know that can be something that's super common among new traders. Kind of hard to avoid in most cases, but we've all been there. And then when you add to that, it's literally just making sure that your math makes sense. Because anytime you have a stop and a target defined up front, the risk is visible, so you're not guessing. You can also factor in the fact that there's fewer platform mistakes, because one setup can save you multiple times over. So the main takeaways are the trigger quality. You want to have the correct order type to match the liquidity, those predefined risk multiples for your R&R, and then also check your status in the monitor tab to make sure that the order has been processed. It may not be executed, but at least have it in the queue. Now, a few things to avoid are the no offset on the stop limit, because if it's too tight, there will be no fill and it'll only add small room for error, which in theory sounds good, but in all actuality, you want to give the trade time to breathe and play out. Another mistake to avoid is to ensure the condition references the stock or ETF you intend to trade. So for example, if you're looking at Google here, you have Google set here, but you accidentally go ahead and type in, let's say, Apple in this symbol box here, this will invalidate the entire trade. So just make sure you don't make the mistake of changing the symbol. Also make sure your TIF is aligned as well to at least your theory of the trade. Now, once you've decided everything that you want, again, go ahead and click on save. I would recommend also saving the bracket order, and you can do that with this symbol here. You can name it breakout or pullback, OCO, it could be anything you desire. Because that one clean condition of a setup will never beat the logic that never fails. Because those realistic offsets are your best friend in most cases. So yeah, y'all, that's all I wanted to discuss covering conditional orders and how you can make them preset for your trading. So I hope y'all found some value in this. And that'll pretty much do it for this video. If you found any of this information to be helpful, y'all already know what to do. Feel free to leave me a comment down below. As always, I thank y'all so much for watching. And of course, I'll see y'all in my next one.